what we have to understand is that these attacks in Sinai were the fruit of an initiative of Islamic State. The Islamic State has as a main goal the domination of the world by Islam, politically and juridically. That's the main point. And the way to achieve this goal is by war, clearly. The second point is that they think that you have different level of heretics. First are Christians, Jews, and so on. But for them, also Muslims could be heretic if they don't accept the Sharia as a rule. And the second point is that for Orthodox Islam, frontiers between Muslims is an heresy. So you have to suppress them. And you have to fight, especially the countries who fight by themselves this Orthodox Islam. And Al-Sisi is fighting the Muslim Brothers and is fighting the Islamic State. So one of the main goals is to have Sisi out. We have to understand first that the Islamic State is a state. It's not a little organization. They have a territory, huge territory of more than 200,000 square kilometers. It's about 10 times Israel. And they want to expand. And they want to get rid of Assad in Syria and to be there, to have a Khilafah there, which is a caliphate, and also in Lebanon. And at the second stage, maybe Jordan, and then they will stay on our border in the Golan. Now they are about 100 kilometers from there. So we have to expect that more and more Muslims from Occidental countries will come to there in order to achieve the goal of Islam, which is the domination of the world by Islam, and to participate to these worlds. So we have to be very careful and follow on all their actions, and Israel particularly should be very prudent on this topic.
So we want to learn about Daesh. What's the Daesh strategy?
Yeah, first you have to understand, you call it Daesh, it's pejorative, because it means Dawla Islamiyya fil Iraq wa Sham. It means the Islamic State in Iraq and in the Levant. But they call themselves the Islamic State or the Caliphate State. What's the difference? By this name, they declare what is their aim. Their aim is the domination of the world by Islam. So you cannot limit them only to Syria and Iraq. And we have to understand that it is a real state with Ministry of Economy and the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education. That's the main point, the Ministry of Education, because they are now teaching children to be shahidim, to be martyrs, and to act this way when they enter wars. You see what I mean? You have this man with a suicide attack. It's part of the classical world for the Islamic State. It's very new. And it's frightening the enemies because they know it's quite dangerous. It's more dangerous than an usual war. So that's the point, and that's the way they think that Islam orders all the Muslims. We have a verse in the Quran saying, Turhibuna, you have to frighten them. That's the reason they decapitate and they kill in very savage ways, in order to frighten the enemy and to have an enemy that it is easy to overcome.
So tell me, how is critical the activity in Egypt against ISIS?
It's very critical. Up to now, the structure of Islamic State is the main caliphate, Al-Raqqa, in Syria, and we have wilayat, provinces. And you have Wilayat Sinai is one of them. Up to now, there is no total defeat anywhere for the Islamic State. If Sisi reaches this goal and eradicates the Islamic State from Sinai, it's a very big point, because it will adopt into the minds of many Muslims. We hoped that the Islamic State will implement the Islam on all over the world, but at the first stage they fail. So it's great. It's great. But I am skeptic about the chances of Assisi to achieve this goal. And the main point is the Egyptians want the Sharia, 80%. And they voted for the Muslim Brothers and for the Salafis, 70% of them. And there are huge economical problems. So how far will go Sisi without meeting a basic opposition, and a violent one, in Egypt? It's a good question.
So do you think ISIS is a very, very serious danger?
Yes, of course, because the aim of ISIS is a totalitarian one. They want to implement Islam on all over the world, and at first on the countries who are neighbors of Islamic states, which means Syria and Lebanon and Jordan and Iraq, and also we are neighbors less than 100 kilometers from our Golan border. You have the Islamic State. So their goal and the ways they use in order to implement them, which are very violent, it represents a real danger. And it's now a real army. They have a real army with tanks and with equipment and with missiles and so on. And they will be with more and more power, and we have to stop it when it's young and it's small enough, because later it will be more and more and much more difficult.
So do you think that this war is dangerous for Assisi?
Yes, of course, because when Assisi is fighting the Islamic State, it means for many Muslims, and especially for many Egyptian Muslims, that his fight is against Islam itself. You fight against Allah. So it's a very real problem and a very big problem. And we have some proofs that this happens. You have to see, for example, the General Attorney of Egypt has been killed in an attack in the heart of Cairo. It's not simple. So you see that you have a very deep opposition to this politics of Sisi fighting against the Orthodox Islam.
So what do you think the result with the agreement with Iran?
First, we have to understand that up to now there is no agreement. Nothing has been signed up to now. There are three main points of this agreement. The first one is the enrichment of uranium. The second point is inspection, and especially in military sites. And the first point is the sanctions that Iran wants the Occidental powers to remove all the sanctions. But these are the three points, and no agreement up to now. And we will see in the next few days if they come to an agreement. But if they come to an agreement, we have to understand that it's a huge danger, also for Israel, also for all the Sunni states, and also for all the Occidental world. And we have to understand why. The main goal of a Shiite is the same as the goal of a Sunni of Islamic State. It means to implement the domination of Islam all over the world. And Khomeini built this concept of helping the Mahdi, with the 12th Imam of the Shia, in order to get this domination of the world by Islam. So the main goal is war. Main goal is war. And for us in Israel, they have said it many, many times, that Israel is a cancer, and we have to remove it from the map and to wash it up and so on, to wipe out Israel. And also Rafsanjani said that if they got atomic bomb. So one on Israel, it's enough to destroy Israel. It's not true, but that's what he said. While many Israeli atomic bombs against the Muslim world will not destroy the Islamic world. So that's the basic concept of the Shia. The second point is that in the Shia, since its really beginning, you have a concept of taqiyya. Taqiyya is to have one thing that you say and the other thing that you are doing, and you don't show what you are doing. And they are specialists in this strategy. So we have to expect that even if they sign this agreement, they will not respect it.
Doctor, well, let's say that we have agreement. What do you think Israel government need to do?
Yeah, at first, up to this, until an agreement is signed, we have nothing to do. We have to express, to speak about the danger that it represents. But if an agreement is achieved, we will have to act in order to have Iran without any atomic capability. Could we succeed in this? There are people in the defense ministry and so on, they know it better than I do. But the goal should be very clear. We have to prevent Iran from atomic capability.
So why Iran need this agreement?
First, there are sanctions, economical sanctions, and it's very hard for the Iranian people. And there is a danger of the population against the regime. That's the basic point. And secondly, I think they are confident that despite the fact that they sign on a nuclear agreement, they will continue through the taqiyya I spoke about before to develop the nuclear capability. So they think we will have no economic sanctions, so our economy will be better, and we'll go on with our politics of developing nuclear capability.
Dr. Ephraïm Herrera, it was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure for me too. Thank you.